What is up, YouTube? This is Deke, and this is my first video for MFL, so the Metaverse Football League. So what I am doing is I am brand new. I'm completely new to the platform, and I'm kind of documenting my journey through. So I started from not knowing anything, watched a few videos, kind of looked through uh, the whitelist, things like that, and then kind of went from there. I really like the idea of owning your own club, buying players and transfer windows, things like that. So this is a football market-esque game, in my opinion, where basically you have your own club. You can expand it to have multiple clubs, which is pretty cool. But for this, I'm just starting with one club, and maybe in the future I expand to have like a like a city group type of setup, which some people have. But basically, I'm just getting started. I bought my team, bought my players, and kind of go from there. So the first things first, you have to buy your club. So it is $80 for a club, and you basically get a random club from somewhere in the world. It has no relevance to where you'll be playing or anything like that. It's just kind of your backbone of that. So whenever you open that, it gives you a random. It's pretty cool, like little intro. And I got Chicago, Illinois, out of the United States. So that's kind of the club that I got. Then you brand it however you want to brand it. So how I went about branding it is I looked through a little bit of history. So, MLS obviously didn't start way back, but I went with the Windy City Wanderers. So, what we have here is a little AI generated slash, what I kind of came up with. I came up with the name. Windy City is Chicago. That is the name for Chicago. So, I went with that. I put the skyline. So, I wanted to have the skyline in the background. And then, with it being the Windy City, the Wanderers. So the Wanderers predate back to like the 1800s, early 1800s. It was one of the first soccer clubs in Chicago. So I thought that was kind of a cool little tribute to a team that used to be there. So the Windy City Wanderers, it rings off the tongue. I like the branding ideas. And this is in the ice division. So the ice division is the bottom of the bottom. So I am starting literally from the lowest league you can start in, and I'm going to try and work my way up as far as I can. So you can do it that way, or you could buy a club. So these club licenses, some people, for example, will list them. They already own the club, but it's yours to license however you would like to. So as you can see on the market here, $69, $73. So you can kind of pick your price point, and people are selling clubs as well. So if you want to get like a second club through the secondary market, you can do that as well. And you can go through these articles, and that's kind of where I started, where you're looking at, okay, what is going on? How does this game work? So there's a lot to take in, but once you kind of get the hang of it, it's not anything crazy. It's just like a regular game with competitions, things like that. The kind of exciting thing that I have for this is they just launched a 2D engine. So if you kind of go to a game, you can watch games, you can schedule friendly. So shout out to First Gen MSG. Whoever this is, scheduled a friendly amongst themselves, two different clubs owned by the same person. So you can kind of see how tactics are working, how things are going, and you can kind of schedule these friendlies, which is pretty cool. And then this 2D match engine, you have possession, you have expected goals, all these things, and it moves at a sped up rate, and then it slows down for highlights, which is pretty cool. So these matches, there's tables, there's different competitions, and the most exciting part about this is we were in seasons like 0.1 through 0.9. After the breakaway, which I'll talk about is the next competition, we're getting into the first season, the first official season. So it's kind of like a perfect time to get in my opinion. I've been kind of putting it off. I've looked at it before, and then I decided to jump right in. So as you can see here, I've never played a match. I'm new, brand new, and I registered in my first competition. So this is the breakaway. If you take a look at the competitions down here, it tells you exactly what is going on in this. This is kind of like a speed run tournament where you can get wheel spins for common players, for the in-game kind of credit system, and it's basically just rapid fire. So this is kind of the last competition, free to enter, and these prize pools you can get other cards with it. You can sell your players, things like that. So participants wise, you can see all the clubs that are in there. And it's kind of cool, some of the club badges and things like that. The creativity is kind of what really drew me, being able to, Brighton Seagulls, like a little play on Brighton and Hove Albion. So that's kind of another cool aspect of it. And then once we get to 1.0, there's promotion, there's relegation. You get rewards for how you finish. You see all these silver, stone, bronze, gold, ice. Ice is the bottom, and then it's kind of a system, a pyramid, obviously, similar to actual football. So you work your way up, down, and the seasons take, I'll have to check on that. I think like 6 weeks sometimes. So they're kind of sped up seasons, and your players progress a year in age each year, and they progress their ratings as well. So there's a little bit of a rating progression. So if we go over to the squad, maybe, if we go over to the squad, you can rotate players. You can have a lot of different things going on. So here's where their energy will be, how fresh they are, their overalls, their contracts. You can sign contracts to players, and this agent thing. So you can technically be the agent, and you can send your player on loan, and it'll pick up a percentage, whatever you'd like to do. So if you set it as 8% of the amount won, then you can get 8% of that loan based out. So you can loan people out. As you can see here, I am the agent on all these players. I own these players. And I am using my Windy City Wanderers club, only club I have to have all these guys. So this is my squad. I sunk a little bit in. I want to start with a decent squad. I think, based on everything I've kind of looked at, whenever the promotion relegation comes into play, this team should be able to get out of ice pretty easily. I could be wrong. Maybe tactically I hold them back, but I should be positioned to be able to get promoted kind of right away. And that's the goal. I bought all young players. I want to use a progression system to kind of get them out. I have some really nice, young, talented players. And the idea is I hope I find some gems that can progress quicker than others. You see here, the blue means it's just the rarity of card. And then you have green here as well. And then the commons are down here. So the blues, I did buy 2 blue players. And it was kind of, I went back and forth of what to do. 78 overall, he's a beast. He's 6'6", an imposing center back who has some nice physical traits and defensive traits. And with kind of how I plan on playing, I want to have some defensive role guys here. So you kind of see last sales, what their skill tree looks like. You can compare them with whoever you want. Okay, he's an attacker, but you get the idea. His contract, so number of seasons, I have him signed through the end of the breakaway, but you can adjust that. He is one of my players already, so as far as the agent, so I don't have to pay anything. Then you can go to this player page and you can see even more. So they have individual statistics, but the 2 things that you won't know about are this potential and longevity. So as far as their age cap, with each season, they do age a year. So these players, as they come through, do get better, and they can fall off a little bit as well. So it is kind of important. You don't know these two things. So the only way to figure this out, as it says here, you can just monitor the player's development. So what I did is Mr. Spreadsheet himself, because I can't not make a spreadsheet. So I basically listed all their starting attributes, and then each season I'll see how they progressed to see if maybe we can find some, hopefully some gems. But either way, I think it's just like a really fun idea. So what you can see is this player has played from day one, season 0.1. You can see who they played for, what was their average rating, how many minutes they played that season, all these things. And then you can see the latest match. So he was in Stone, which is higher up than where I am. And he was having, for this Kansas Racanos team, great outputs. So player rating of 8.5, 7.8. He was doing really well in those leagues. So I figure in ice, hopefully, maybe I can win a league title at day one. And in each season, there's also these IMFF cups. So there's a cup tournament going on as well, similar to if you think of like England. So the FA Cup. So there's the same thing. So like people down low in the ice division have a chance against anyone else. So I figured in my first season, I'm kind of getting my feet wet, and I'm sure there's some things that I'm not going to know, but I kind of wanted to have a decent starting team to kind of see how far I can get. So that was the squad. Contrast, you can look at tactics. There's so much you can dive into here. So I just kind of barely dove in here. I'm going to go with a 4-3-3 attack. And then depending on who we play, we could switch this to, the 4-3-3, but different variations of it. So a defensive, a false nine if I really wanted to, and just kind of see how my players are playing, who is not playing very well. And then can I rotate throughout the league? Because you're going to have to rotate people energy, just like real world. So pretty cool. My oldest player is 25, my backup goalie. He was $1. So, I really splurged on him. But all of my other guys are super young. And I kind of thought, okay, I'm playing in ice. I'm at the bottom. The trajectory, hopefully in 6 or 7 years where these guys are in their prime, hopefully I'm kind of getting better with each level that I go up. So that's kind of why I went younger instead of older. Younger are slightly more expensive, which can be a little bit frustrating whenever you're trying to buy a new team, especially because you have to buy at least 18 players to be able to actually play. So you buy your club, but then you have to buy your players on the other half of that. So that's kind of what I ran into as well. It's like, okay, you start with a starting amount, and then you might have to kind of dip in a little bit more. But once you're started, you can enter these for free and then kind of generate from there. So tactic wise, you have a captain who can boost your team, and it depends who you want to click. So captain team bonus, if I have this Freitag guy, he gets +2 in his overall. And you can see the rest of the team gets +2 passing, +1 dribbling to everyone else. But if you go to a right winger, +2 in the shooting, +1 on the pace. So you can kind of play around with it, what best fits your club. I've kind of played around with it a little bit. If you can kind of sort by this, I bought some pacey guys. It's kind of like a FIFA thing. Get some pacey guys on your wings, and you can kind of go from there. I haven't seen a ton of pace, but this 22-year-old, he's a 68 overall, so he's not the best player in the world. 91 pace, 71 dribbling is okay, but not the greatest other stats. A lot of these guys aren't going to have off the wall chart stats, but it's kind of, I tried to go for a role. So I have a defensive midfielder that's playing center. They're both center mids, but defensive role, and then a more attacking guy as well. So I kind of tried to line these guys up to kind of hopefully have a good starting team. Will I need to upgrade some players? Probably, to compete later on. So that's kind of just the main screen. You have team instructions, very similar to Football Manager. Do you want to play narrow? Do you want to play wide? It's kind of based on with my pace. Maybe I open it up a little bit more. Do we want to be direct? You get the idea. Out of possession. So a lot of things that you can kind of tweak, and that's where those friendlies come into play. I kind of like the idea of I can schedule a friendly whenever I want. And then set pieces. What do we want to do on set pieces? Who do we want to take them? Free kick, corner, and penalties. So pretty cool there as well. But overall, I'm excited for this to start. I'm excited to start my own club, and I'm really looking forward to this breakaway competition where I don't really have any expectations. You're supposed to be grouped with teams that are similar overall to you. So my team should be in a group of 8 teams that are the same, and then kind of just go from there. So if you're just watching this now, as of October 4th, I believe the window opens in 2 days. So you got to get that team registered so that you can play throughout. So with season 1 coming up, I'm excited, 1.0, and I'm really hoping for this promotion right out of the gate. And I'm going to be documenting my kind of starting from the bottom and see how far I can run this team up. So hopefully you guys like this and look out for more MFL content moving forward. See ya.